This is a really great question. I guess it's just been like a slow progression of like where I've worked has just become more and more woman focused and less hospital based. So I went from doing my training in like a big regional centre. I've worked in I think 14 different health services in 2 different states. I have been generally an on-call midwife with one-on-one continuity of care from 2017. And then over the years, it's kind of become like more individualized. So from I think end of 2018 through to 2022 maybe, I was in Northam, and it's basically like a birth centre out in the wheat belt. Which I guess is like almost their version of family birth centre, but without being attached to a big hospital. So I'm very used to not having like a massive hospital with, you know, if I hit a big red emergency button, I'm going to have 100 people come and help me. Like I'm used to not having the backup there. Or if I have backup, then they're not specifically like birth trained. And then there's been some really amazing documentaries come out in the last few years, which I'll try remember to note in like the next story. And then I've just had like more and more friends go into private practice. It's become more of a normal thing. So I've had more chance to ask questions. And I always thought, even from like being a really new midwife, that, oh, I'd love to do home birth one day. Like it just sounds so cool. I think also having such a variety of workplaces has been really helpful, and working with like a whole range of amazing midwives. And yeah, just like seeing woman after woman just birth babies and find their power. And it's been really amazing for me to see. Because when I did my training, when I became a midwife, it was really, really normal that, you know, inductions, epidurals, episiotomies, C-sections, like I didn't even think twice about it. I was like, oh yeah, like this is just, you know, how people have to have their babies. But I had, yeah, just like a couple of mums that I really like felt like I had big experiences with, seeing them birth their babies in their power. And that really just made me think, oh, like this is it. This is how it should be. And not to say that like there's one way of giving birth that's better, but just to see someone have a really empowering experience no matter how that baby's born. I felt those experiences taught me, you know, more in some respect than what I could learn from uni. And then, yeah, it's just been a process, I guess. But I've never not trusted birth. And having all the experiences I've had, I've only learnt to trust it more, because I see that, you know, the more intervention we provide, like the more things start to go off the rails. And yeah, just the trauma, the physical, psychological, emotional, spiritual trauma that comes from that for both mum and baby just increases. I think also when I started working in Northam, like we were a really small team. There was 4 midwives and 1 manager. And for maybe like 2-ish years, that was us. And just to like work really closely with just a few people, it made so much difference just in terms of like learning from these like beautiful experienced midwives, and yeah, just really being in that community. And yeah, I don't know, I just guess it happened, and I never questioned it, because I can just like feel in my body that, you know, things can either go really, really well, or when they're not going well, I know how to recognize that and I can action something. Whether, you know, that's just like some kind of minor like discussion, position change, just like extra support for the woman, or, you know, whether I'm pulling out, you know, the drug box because she's bleeding really heavy or baby needs resus. Like, I know how to do that stuff and I've done that stuff. So yeah, sometimes stuff, you know, sometimes birth doesn't go to plan, and that's okay. Like, that's why we, you know, do the extra study days and we practice drills, and we learn what to do in those situations. And so birthing outside of a hospital, like, isn't as big a deal, I guess.